Welcome everyone to the Ballinesian podcast, episode 90, here in week 14 of the NFL season, last week of the fantasy football regular season for a lot of people. We're going to talk about the playoff teams and the playoff seeds that races that matter here in the final month of the NFL regular season. Ballinesian podcast sponsored as always by Livasa Island Apparel, www.livassaislandapparel. Shout out to them. And also to Samoa Solutions, the Nesian night market that they were just at. Was it in Burlingame down there in the Bay?
I think so.
Yeah, I got to get a bunch of vendors and Pacifica people together to show their wares and really network and connect. That's always dope. And he posted about how awesome that event was. So definitely shout out to them, Samoa Solutions, and also to our sponsor, Livasa Island Apparel. I am Lance Falitono.
Yo, it's your Raider boy, man. You know what I mean? It's a little dark out here because it was pretty dark during the game yesterday. Like, it's a dark time for me and Lance's teams right now. So,
man, yeah. Just before we get into like the real teams that matter, let's talk about the Raiders and the Chargers. The Chargers have lost Justin Herbert for the season with an injured finger on his throwing hand. So at 5-8, like we just got a tiebreaker over the Jets, but that not a good look at the playoffs. The Raiders are also 5-8. How do you feel? An outside shot, right? But there's still a shot.
Outside shot. At this point, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. He's just playing for the Raiders. No, I'm just watching right now. I'm cheering on because I just want to be able to beat the Chargers on Thursday, Denver after that, and the Chiefs. If I could do that, I mean, if they don't make the playoffs, I'll be fine as a fan.
I hope the Raiders beat the Chargers on Thursday. I'm in that. Okay, we're not going to make the playoffs. Then, especially with Justin Herbert, the starting quarterback, being out, I'm like not envisioning Easton Stick as capable of a backup quarterback that he is. Turning the Chargers into something that Herbert wasn't able to do, and Herbert was statistically outstanding this season. Like for real, it's not really his fault. I'm on that bandwagon. It's not Justin Herbert's fault. Sure. It's the defense giving up hella points. But yeah, if a miracle happens, whatever. But I hope the Chargers lose the next freaking 4 games and get a really good draft pick.
It's crazy because I saw a report like you would think. I know you said you might have seen it somewhere that they're shutting him down for a year. But I've also seen reports that are like, oh well, he's not going to play this game Thursday for sure. But he might play. I was like, why?
Ooh, right.
Why?
Right. He's getting surgery on it real soon, possibly today or tomorrow. So there's a chance that surgery lets him play like the last week or two. But yeah, exactly like you're saying. Why would you even do that? So that's the not making the playoff teams. Let's talk about the playoff teams. Here in the NFL right now, if you are a Ravens, Dolphins, Chiefs, and Jaguars fan, you're pretty happy. If you're a Niners, Cowboys, Lions, Buccaneers fans, you're pretty happy. The Cowboys took the number 1 seed away from the Eagles in the Sunday night football game. This was like I feel like the NFC East is always in Sunday night football games, especially these division games, but this one was a really big one, and I think, especially for Cowboy fans who got a really big win. I'm gonna pull up the score here from that. But how do you think the Cowboy and Eagle fan bases are feeling right now? Cowboys got to be on a high, right?
Cowboys for sure, because I mean that game is always going to be intense because they're division rivals. And both teams of late have been pretty good. Not just this season, but these past few seasons, both teams have been playoff contenders. And I mean, you've seen the Eagles in the Super Bowl twice in the past 4 years, 5 years. So I mean, they won one, dropped one. So
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh right, they won one versus Tom.
Yeah, hey man, don't take the Super Bowl away, man.
I'm just remembering. I was trying to. You said 5 years. It seemed like it was longer than that. Nick Foles.
It might be longer than that, but I mean, Yeah, of late, like both teams have been contenders, is the point I was trying to make. And
Mm.
so, I mean, that game is always going to be tough. I know right now Dallas is on a high because, again, if Philly beat them last year and were able to get to the Super Bowl, so it kind of seems like in the NFC, the road to the Super Bowl always goes through three of those teams: San Francisco, Philadelphia, Dallas. So, uh, man,
Yeah,
tough. I know Frisco fans for sure are on the super high. I know they
number
don't. I know they
one.
definitely didn't want to cheer for Dallas yesterday, but I know they're certainly happy that they won. If they weren't publicly cheering for them, they definitely were. At home hoping that they won. So they're number one now. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "Well, it's only regular season." It still counts because that places you. That really gives you extra time to rest.
Mm.
That's what being number one seed means in the NFL going into playoffs. There's a lot of resting for you, more time for preparation. So yeah, being number one seed, it's still a big thing. People are going, well, as long as you win the Super Bowl. Well, I mean, if you don't have time to rest and heal up, you might not win the Super Bowl. So
I feel like the NFC matchup I want to see in the NFC Championship is Niners versus Cowboys right now. The Eagles, as like efficient as their short offensive running game can be, they're super banged up, and that might be because of Jalen Hurts getting pushed into 20 people like 10 times a game with the tush push. But
yeah,
Jalen Hurts is a little limpy right now. He hasn't been as efficient. He definitely has been a baller in fantasy, but uh, because that's only because he's getting those easy touchdowns. But he
yeah.
looks hurt. He's not as efficient. Like try especially when they're down in these games. These last two games, they ended up losing by more than 20, 42-19 versus the Niners, 33-13 versus the Cowboys yesterday. Oh my gosh, it's something. Um, but yeah, so the Cowboys defense and their offense is clicking. I would love to see that versus the Niners defense, who is always very solid and whose offense is, oh my gosh, feels so like easily connecting with wide open receivers. Brock Purdy's an MVP candidate because of it. That's definitely what I want to see. But the Eagles, I think, are actually favored by the end of the season. Let's look at their schedules here to take back over the lead, the division lead, and to have that number two seed, which would knock the Cowboys back down to the five seed in the wild card. Let's see. The Eagles' next games are at Seattle, and then Giants, Cardinals, Giants. So at least those last three feel like shoe-in wins for the Eagles if they aren't super hurt already, as opposed to the Cowboys schedule, whose last four are at Bills, at Dolphins, versus the NFC North leading Lions, and then a division game at Commanders. So the tie records right now between the Cowboys and Eagles at 10-3. The tiebreaker right now is that Dallas has one more division win at 4-1 in the division, but they only have one game remaining, whereas the Eagles have two of those games against the Giants. So if they win both of those games, they'll both be 5-1, assuming the Cowboys also win against the Commanders. And then I think it goes into um, probably head to head, which they split. So it's going to get into like a crazy tiebreaker. We're going to have to figure out exactly what it happens if the Cowboys and Eagles finish the season with the same record and the same division record. Do
I
you?
think
Who do you think
it go.
is gonna win? Oh yeah, what's up with the tiebreakers?
I think tiebreakers will go just like it does in, well, I don't know, maybe I know in high school sports, when I was coaching like basketball, it would go down to points scored, points allowed, just like fantasy football. So I think that might play a factor in.
I'm pulling it up.
If like if they end up at a stalemate at the end of the regular season with both of them splitting wins during the season and them having the same record. So, but I like Dallas just because they seem healthier right now. Um, and Dak is playing out of his mind right now. You know, I
Mm,
that hurts me to say this. Everything I'm saying now about Dallas hurts me to say. Uh, but yeah, they they look like they're firing on all cylinders right now. Honestly, they're not as good as I don't think they're as good as the 49ers, but they're playing just as good as them. You know what I mean? Like the play that they have on the field, especially offensively,
Hmm.
they kind of look like they could like they're the ones that are gonna come out better at the end of the season. But yeah, I like Dallas to come out as number 2 seed because I don't think anybody's
Yeah.
beating San Francisco down the line.
And Dallas also has currently a 1 game lead in the conference games versus the Eagles. The Cowboys in NFC games are 7-3. The Eagles in NFC games are 6-2. And that is one of the tiebreakers. So if there's a tie between 2 games of the same division, the first is head to head. This is off the NFL tie-breaking
Right,
procedures
right.
webpage. The first is head to head, best win loss percentage in games between the two clubs, which they split this season. And then it's best percentage in games played within the division. And if
Mm,
they tie in the division and they're both 5-1 or 4-2,
yeah.
it's going to go to best won loss percentage in common games. So we'll have to look at the games that they played against the same teams.
Same teams, numbers, 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 numbers.
Yeah, so that's going to be the AFC East teams and the NFC. Trying to see who else they played. Which one is it? NFC West? No, it looks like AFC East and one of these NFC
Maybe
West.
the North. Oh,
NFC West. Okay, AFC East and NFC West games.
yeah. I
Uh,
mean, I fully expect San Francisco to be at the top, and then Dallas to be second. Nothing against Philly, just they, like I said, they seem like they're more prepared right now. They're healthier on the field, and they got a quarterback who's playing his, lights out right now. So that those are big points to have if you're trying to make a run at the end of the season towards a better playoff spot. But also, like, I mean, we could look at these records like the Jets. The Jets had a really big win this past Sunday. And, you kind of got to
yeah,
see what. I'm not saying that Zach Wilson is cured. You know what I mean? He should be the starter, but you saw what he could play like when he's not thinking about getting cut, getting benched, or with like the whole city of New York in his ear telling him how crappy he is. He just went out there and played, and you had a really good game, and they pulled out a win. So that win's not guaranteed. I know it looks easy on the schedule, but the Giants right now are giving rubs to Green Bay. And if you're gonna tell me that Green Bay is another crappy team, they are. But in the past few games too, hey, they look pretty good. They beat Kansas City, so yeah. I mean, yeah. So if you're playing those two teams at the end of the year, it's not really a gimme. Dallas has a lot of things going for them right now.
so Dallas of the games where they played the AFC East and the NFC West, Dallas is 4-2 in those games with 2 games to go coming up next versus the Bills and then the Dolphins. And it looks like the uh, Eagles they beat the Patriots, beat the Rams, lost to the Jets 2-1, beat the Dolphins 3-1, and then beat the Bills and lost to the. So they're both 4-2 with 2 of those same games remaining. The Seahawks games, and then in 3 weeks they'll play the Cardinals. So man, so all those games are going to come down and decide the NFC East. But the Niners, yeah, the Niners are cruising right now. They're on top. Do you think the Niners are going to be the eventual number 1 seed in the NFC? In the NFC?
Man, I think they're going to be in the Super Bowl. That even hurts me to say. Shit. But just watching them play, man, like CMC looks like he can contort his body to fit any opening, any gap that there is, and he can fit through it. And it never looks like he's going to have negative yards when he, has the ball in his hands. We saw Debo also take apart Seattle yesterday on the handoffs alone. And Ayuk, even with the fumble that he had, because he's a dummy, even with the fumble that he had, it's hard to cover. Like we were talking about how Miami is the number 1 offense in the league. They're so explosive, but without Tyreek, I was watching the game earlier. Man, as soon as Tyreek got hurt, they had to switch up their whole offense. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, what's going
Yeah,
on?
yeah,
I don't think I'd like to say that Frisco is like that with CMC, but they got some decent backup runners, and they don't really have to change much if CMC goes out. CMC is though, I think, the biggest part of that team on offense. So, but no, yeah,
for sure. I
I
think so. Yeah.
yeah, I have San Francisco. Um, at least since we're talking divisions, we're not Super Bowl yet. I have them winning out in the NFC.
Yeah, they got let's see, San Francisco's four remaining games are at Cardinals, hosting the Ravens, at Washington Commanders, and then hosting the Rams. So three very winnable games, one game against the head of the AFC, but I'm sure the Niners will be favored in that one. In Santa Clara. What is this? Oh, Christmas Day, Christmas night?
Oh wow,
What? 12:25 at 5:15 p.m. For Christmas, we're gonna get Ravens versus Niners. Wow. Okay. So that's coming up. Put that on the schedule. But yeah, the Niners, if they finish 3-1 or 4-0, they're gonna be 14-3 or 13-4, and probably the number one seed in the NFC. Probably the Cowboys and what Eagles will, if they also win out, they'll be battling them. Um, in the AFC, it's the Ravens. Right now, they're 10-3, and leading off, the Dolphins are playing Monday Night Football to try to catch up with them. But they're also playing uh, the Packers are playing Monday Night Football. There's two Monday Night Football games this week. I don't know
there is.
what the hell that's about. Is so
There's
confusing.
two,
I got mad when I saw that earlier.
but
but
this is also the second Monday night they've done it this season. So
yeah, usually the first week of the season is that double header, but then they have a game at like 3 o'clock and then a game at 6 o'clock.
yeah,
This one they
yeah,
started both games at 5:15, and it's
yeah.
like why the heck would you do that? But yeah, whatever. ESPN pays billions of dollars to try to get these games, and they don't know which games are going to be good. But yeah, it looks like the Ravens, Dolphins trying to catch up with them. The Chiefs are in the third spot at. I mean, the Chiefs just took a loss to the Bills. That was a pretty good game. Patrick Mahomes would have you think otherwise. And then the
Hmm.
Jacksonville Jaguars currently lead the AFC South, but those are going to be pretty much up for grabs because on their heels are the Colts, the Texans are down there, the Broncos are rising up. Yeah, but of the teams that we know are going to make the playoffs, most like the Ravens, none of these teams have clinched. Actually, the only two teams that have been eliminated so far are the New England Patriots and the Carolina Panthers. Can't make the playoffs, right? Everybody else, there's a shot. So, as far as that back half, the wild card, the teams that are in the hunt, everyone still has a shot. So, we'll just focus on the conference leaders. Are there any other crazy playoff things, or I want to talk about Shohei Otani after though? But any NFL playoff situations? Oh, I know the both of the North divisions, the AFC North and the NFC North, have three teams currently in playoff positions in the top seven seeds. The AFC has the Ravens, the Browns, and the Steelers. The Ravens at 10-3, Browns at 8-5, and the Steelers at 7-6. And then the NFC has the Lions at 9-4, and then the Vikings at 7-6, and the Packers at 6-6, who are also playing a Monday Night Football game versus the Giants. But yeah, the North divisions both currently have three teams, which is probably the most. I don't think anyone's going to get four teams in. There's always going to be one team that everyone beats up on, or is having a really rebuild or beat up season. So, anything on the playoffs? Any other things on the NFL playoffs? Man, week 14 already. Ugh.
No, but I mean, I fully expect uh the Ravens to remain at the top throughout the playoffs. They just, man, they're a grinded out kind of team, beat you up like
Mhm.
uh
Defense crazy.
yeah, their defense is crazy. And then you have Lamar Jackson, who's also like, people were so worried about, like, I mean, how he was with the money, that he might just be all about
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
contract and stats, but he hasn't had like great stats. Like we've seen him in other seasons where he has like MVP like numbers, or probably should have been the MVP.
Hmm.
But right now, his like he's just winning, and that's what he's concentrated on. That's dangerous. Like if guys are out there just really focused on winning, especially on the good team, they have the personnel to to stay tough and just grind it all the way out to the Super Bowl. So
So on that defense, a key piece, safety. Is it Kyle Hamilton? Uh,
yes,
ha-
sir.
just today, a MCL sprain.
Well, at least
uh,
they caught it. At least they caught it before it like turned into a tear.
Yeah, so he's going to be week to week. Probably won't play for the next week or two, but they'll definitely be trying to get him back in. Or, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he will play. But the Ravens' last four games are going to be coming up at Jaguars, and then that game Christmas at Niners, and then they finish the game hosting the Dolphins and Steelers. So four playoff teams for the end of the Ravens right now. They could finish this 0-4 and drop down to like 10-7.
They could.
That's
They could.
possible. But yeah, we'll definitely be watching Ravens football and see how they hold up. Shout out to Puka Nakua for that Superman sideline catch. I thought that was really dope. Tweeted about it. It wasn't a loss to the Ravens, but man, they were that was a great game.
It was. That was like it could have gone either way.
Um, yeah, the Broncos are making a run. Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. You think they quietly after a bunch of losses were just able to go fly under the radar? I mean, they're like
Don't
in
say.
eighth or ninth in the AFC, but I feel like their offense is finally. Russ looks comfortable. Some of those moon shots look like vintage Russ. He sets back up there in the pocket and he lost it up there down for Cortland Sutton, who's freaking stiff arming Michael Davis.
Nah, man. Only place the Broncos are running to is the bathroom. Fuck those guys.
What? Ah.
Nah, of course. Russell Wilson's a great quarterback. I don't care what people say. I don't care how he's played the last couple seasons up until now. Hey man, he got a Super Bowl. He had great seasons. He's proven to be a good quarterback. He's got a great coach on the sideline. So yeah, he's got pieces. You know, Jerry Judy hasn't produced much either, but we've seen him have great games. So he's at least we know he's capable.
Cherry Judy,
Uh,
shit. I want him not to catch a pass ever again. I'm on Team Steve Smith right now. Uh, I Jerry
oh,
Judy. I don't want him to succeed. I'm a hater.
yeah, that's funny. They have a good stable of running backs,
Uh,
starting with Javante Williams, um, McLaughlin, and they have another one who I know they got P Ryan back there. So
yeah.
yeah, I like them. I don't know if they're gonna have a good enough run to make the playoffs, but it's nice to see them like not give up on the season because they were pretty bad at the beginning of the season, and here they
Hmm.
are winning games out. So
So
yeah,
the 6 and 7 seed in the AFC are 7-6, and so are the 8, 9, 10, and 11 seed Houston Texans, Denver Broncos, Cincinnati Bengals, and Buffalo Bills. So that's going to get real spicy at the end of the season. Just 4 games left for all those teams. Depending on how those go, they might be in the wild card. Some of them might even be able to are in the run for their division championship. So they'll definitely be going out for that. I also want to point this out in the NFC. The fifth seed Eagles are 10-3, and the fourth seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 6-7. And the if the season ended today, the Eagles would have to fly down to Tampa Bay to play the game at the Buccaneers Stadium at Raymond James, whatever it's. Yeah, I think it's Raymond James Stadium. Uh, Instead of hosting one for a team that they're up 4 games against, and that's because the Buccaneers are currently the division leaders in the NFC South. So that means that the number 10 seed Atlanta Falcons and number 11 seed New Orleans Saints, who are 6-7, who are tied with them at 6-7, are also in that hunt for the number 4 playoff seed. They won't qualify for the wild card, but they might get the 4 seed in a home game because they might be division champs in the NFC South. All right. Shohei Otani signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Oh, wait. Shout out to the Lakers for winning the first NBA in-season tournament, NBA Cup. LeBron putting his name down as the first to do it and mentioned in the post-game on-court interview, you
Hey
can't
man, you know
take this
what?
away.
That that stat and that championship is just as useless as the post I saw about Bronny surpassing his father with college points. So
In one game, man, what a game.
oh my gosh,
uh,
man.
which brings up the question: should the Lakers hang a championship banner at the Staples Center, Crypto.com Arena, for the first ever, the inaugural in-season NBA Cup championship? What do you
It
think?
doesn't matter because they've already decided that they're gonna hang one.
Oh, okay. So they don't care
Yeah.
what Kobe said?
Nope, they're gonna hang one. You know why? Because they don't have a real leader anymore in Kobe. They have LeBron. So
No, wow. LeBron is not a real leader?
no, he's fake.
LeBron definitely is, I think, rightly points out his accomplishments, which we should all do, right? We should all make sure we're being valued and appreciated. So yeah, shout out to the Lakers for winning. I also think
Nah,
the in-season tournament was a success.
no,
What do you think?
definitely, because the players, you hear a lot of the players. Well, I mean, not a lot of players, but some of the key players were talking about how the games were played almost like playoff games. So it brought a certain type of atmosphere to it that the players liked. The
Mm,
competitiveness that it
hmm
brought to like the games again. And I hear people when they say that it's a gimmick and that the NBA had to bring this in to make the games more exciting again and popular. I don't see the I don't see the bad part in that. Like, okay, so it's a gimmick. You trying to get people to come watch again. That's the commissioner's job is to make the league more exciting again, and he's done it. That's a success just alone with the players because those games were intense. I won't lie. Like again, hats off to the Lakers for winning the first one, the inaugural tournament because teams are really trying to win it. I mean, even like I don't know if
Yeah,
Giannis is playing,
yeah.
but Giannis, yeah, Giannis didn't know that there was money at the end of it. What he was playing for,
Whoa.
just because someone said that it's a tournament. And if you're a competitor, of course you want a prize. So 500,000 is cool. Like,
Wait.
yeah, you didn't hear see the interview. So they're interviewing after one of the games, and they're like, "So I mean, what about the 500?" He goes, "What? We get 500,000 at the end of the tournament?" He goes, "Oh, that's pretty cool too." But it's just like uh he man, because he had a really good tournament. He was putting up numbers. So yeah, success for sure. Good for the Lakers. Because hey, that's the first one, and they played really well as Lakers fans. I know all you Lakers fans want to see them play that way through the rest of the season.
hmm
You know, so definitely a success. I liked it. I liked the tournament. So also,
yeah.
the Lakers don't get the Lakers who played in the tournament and won will end up with only 200. Not only because I said like I have this in the bank, but from the 500,000 after taxes, if you're living in California, and the Lakers do, they only get 240 from that 500,000.
Wait, they only get what? Why?
200 because they're taxed when they get paid. So the tax in California, that's how much they're getting taxed.
Uh,
Half of that money. So
okay.
yeah,
Yo, state tax laws like are so interesting to me. They're so different.
it's so different. You figure though California because they're I mean plus they play in LA too. Everything's expensive in LA, and just you can only imagine the cover up people that work in that for that state. So
Wait, what?
Anyway,
Wait.
we're getting away from basketball. Getting away from basketball.
Oh, the dark state. Oh,
Man, yeah.
The Hollywood elites, big tech.
You can you
No.
you can tell by the way I was talking shit, people. I'm not a Lakers fan, but I like to see them. Like it was good for the league to see them also like because they were hyped to win it. They were hyped to win it. I'm more excited about LeBron getting to watch Bronny play, getting his first win, his first bucket. I think his post about that was super genuine. Not that I think all his posts are ingenuine, but I like when he talks about his kids and like he gets to be a father and goes out to see them play. And getting to see your son play his first college basketball game, that's dope, man. And Bronny had a chase down block that was incredible. Looked just like his pops.
Oh, yep. It said
Yeah.
Andre Iguodala's son is shivering right now.
No, I was like, yeah, that's fucked up. uh,
Nice. Speaking of
but
college
yeah,
basketball, South
yep,
Carolina versus Utah. The
yeah,
Gamecocks
man.
women's basketball 78-69. Scar continues on perfect. What are the man? Utah was ranked 11. Is
Look, hey, let
South
me tell
Carolina
you,
number one?
those are gonna be my shot. Yeah, South Carolina's number 1 now. Those are my shout outs for tonight. I might as well just get it done now. You talking about the game. Shout out to Elisa Feely, who's been on a tear this season. Just putting up numbers. She
Mhm.
dropped 37,
Career high
37,
37.
3 and 2. Yeah, 37, 3 and 2. Just carrying her team, man. And I was talking to one of my best friends in the world, Tipesa Gray, the wife of the great Chelsea Gray, plays for the Las Vegas. She plays ball too. T. Pessa is a baller. Don't get it twisted. Of course, her wife Chelsea, probably one of the I say top 5 in the league, and not
Champion.
5, 4, 3, or 2. Uh,
He.
but that's why, yeah. No, T. Pessa can ball. So we talk about basketball. She hit me up, asked if I knew Lisa. I said I know of her, and I've been following her, and she was so impressed. Like she gets to watch women's college basketball again because they're in the states for the off season. So um, yeah, Elisa, man, if I could say one thing about her that would impress you when you're watching her, because she's a post player, but she got a face up game. She can hit from three, but since she's a post player, her footwork is impeccable. Like uh, man, for a big that plays back to the basket,
Hmm.
footwork is something like if you have elite footwork, that just it makes you elite in the post,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think.
You can sneak
And
your
she,
heel back. If you can spin
man,
right. If you can
yeah,
drop.
she can
Mm.
move, she can drop step into the lane, she can spin to the baseline, go reverse. She does all of that. It helps with her rebounding, where she's killing it too. She's currently uh sixth in the nation in scoring and second in field goal percentage. So
Woo!
man, she's killing it. And
That's
on the
for you.
flip side of that court last night was Tahini Pau. Shout out to her too.
Bang,
She
bang.
put a 15. She had 15, 3, and I think 4. So she's having an amazing season, having transferred over from Oregon to play for the great Don Staley. I don't know. Maybe Don Staley kind of looks at her and sees the same type of player because um, she's leading that team. She's their point guard, but she's putting up points too. Um, it's fun to watch her. I've been watching her since her freshman year. I forgot how I heard about her, but she got her own. I mean, she,
At Ducks.
yeah, man, we used to watch like Ball is Life. Me, the guys I coach, the girls I coach, the men's team I coach, some of the guys we sit and watch Ball is Life highlights before games or before practices. Will get us hype, and that's kind of how we gauge how like college players were going to be. So I seen her Ball is Life highlight tape, and she that's how I found her, and she's nice, man. Since her freshman year, she had a couple of injuries that have kind of like put some of her years on pause. I know she was injured in high school. She had a injury in college. Uh, just persevered all of that just to get to South Carolina and be the point guard of the number 1 team in the nation, and she's putting up points. She's nice, man. It's nice to see those girls play like that. Uh, and we know like we don't know of these girls, but we know like some of their family members, and it's great to see them be excited about them play like that and see all the posts and stuff like that. So shout out to those 2 girls leading the way. I hope coaching high school girls in American Samoa was tough, man, because just cultural wise, not anything else. If we're not talking about anything else, cultural wise, it's hard to get parents to buy in, have girls come and play, come home, come to practice, because the roles of girls are different in American Samoa a lot. It's always been like that. Yeah, they're usually looked to come home, and I hate to say it, man, because it kind of it's shitty, but for them to come home and do for hours, do chores, take care of the family, that's what they're looked at. And
But the boys aren't expected to
not
do the
not
same chores.
not I mean not really. They do chores, but like
Talking about like
if
house
you're
stuff.
I mean, girls, yeah, house stuff. I mean, just take care of the family, literally. You see it, man, back home. Uh, if a boy stays for practice, parents don't really bat an eye about it. You know what I mean? Especially if it's for football. Like, if your son plays football, it's kind of like there's no question. You're kind of just going to go all out for your son.
Um,
Practice, whatever, making sure he's good, making sure if coaches ask for something, you kind of like, yeah, sure. But for like, not just girls basketball, if we're being honest, when girls play sports, if the parents are super supportive, it helps. But not every parent is gonna be super supportive back home just because of the cultural lines. So
what
I
is
love it that they're.
how do you
Well,
fix
go ahead.
that?
Getting parents involved, letting them know that again, it is not the world that they grew up in. There's a lot of opportunities for these women and girls to go out there and scholarship wise, go to college, go beyond that, and just yeah, there's so much more opportunities for women in sports these days. Samoa is such a small country, especially all the way out there. There's a lot of things that they're still catching up with, like in the modern world. And don't get me wrong, I love my culture. I love a ton of the traditions that come with the culture. But I mean, some of it has to change, like women's rights. Not that they don't have rights back home. I'm just,
They're just
just
not expected to actually have
yeah,
the same freedoms or like
exactly,
being trusted to do the same
exactly.
stuff. Yeah. Let your daughters do what they want to do, or support them in the same way
Yeah,
as support
yeah,
your sons.
especially in sports. So I hope like a lot of the girls, wherever they're from, wherever Lisa Pidi and Tahini Papa, wherever they're from, the girls that get to see them that look like them, uh, and the girls in Samoa, that haven't really seen stuff like that locally, because they're all man. I know some girls who can play ball back home. But you don't really get to see them like that. But so to see these 2 girls who look just like those little girls back home and get to see them on a big stage like women's college basketball Division 1 is great,
Yeah.
and I hope it spreads so much in the places uh, that it hasn't. So great to see, man. Great to see.
Uh, hell yeah. You know what also is great to see? 680 million of Shohei Otani's $700 million record-setting contract is going to be deferred until
Bro,
2033.
648 mil.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Nice, right?
That
That's great,
right?
right?
Like, when have you ever heard of a play? So of that money, he's supposed to be getting paid this next season. Like I think his at bat was supposed to be somewhere around 800,000 just at bat. You know what I mean? For his
Nice.
every at bat. But
Well,
what he's gone
al-
and done was go ahead, Lance.
also he's not pitching this next year. He's just coming off of surgery, but he's going to be cleared to bat this season, but he's not going to be able to pitch until 2025.
See,
Did you know
man,
that?
like I did it actually.
That's
I did it.
crazy. I did not know that when we signed him. I actually didn't know that he just had surgery, so that was surprising to me. But also, I'm thinking past this. What is he like? 28? He's
Yeah,
on the
he's still young. He's still
oh,
young.
younger than that.
I think he might be around 26. I don't know.
So yeah, the next like years 3 through 10 also are going to be the. Oh my God, he's like 29. Okay, so the
Oh,
like
20.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
year when he's 31 through 37, that's when like the window is going to be still wide open. And now that he's deferred like 90 some percent of his contract until way later, that opens up that. And apparently this was his intention according to what I'm reading. He did this I think to save money later, but also with the intention of helping the Dodgers sign other players so that his massive record setting contract wasn't going to be a burden to keep the team competitive around him. He was like, but when I retire, then, screw you guys. You're going to have to eat it after,
Right.
but
Right.
you're going to have a window to make it worth it. And the Dodgers already have Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Max Muncy, a bunch of other guys who this year, younger guys, who stepped up, and then disappeared in the playoffs. Oh my God. It hurts to think about and remember such high expectations and winning so many games and starting so high and then getting shooed right out of the playoffs. But yeah, hopefully Shohei is playing both ways, pitching and batting, and still hitting 30 home runs, still pitching and getting 20 wins or whatever. Yeah. Did you think the Dodgers signing Shohei was a good move, an of course move, a bad move?
One, of course, anytime you get to sign the best baseball player in the world, that's always a good move. That's always a good move. Did I want it for the Dodgers? No, because he also had a chance to sign with the Braves, who I cheer for. So, yeah, man, f the Dodgers.
It's gonna be fun. I feel like this is gonna help, especially because I feel like we've been going in to the playoffs just waiting to play the Braves, but also coming in a little underhanded sometimes, especially with the injuries this last season to May,
Yeah, yeah.
Bueller, everybody freaking
I mean,
Urias with his domestic violence. He's out. Art like Bueller, not Bueller. Uh, the guy that the girl tried to get him to punch her so she could get money. Um, Bauer. Uh,
yeah. See, sounds just like the Dodgers. Jesus.
Man, it's okay, yeah. So we clean all that up, we get that away. That's bad, and now we've got Shohei Otani, we've got Walker Bueller, we got a bunch of young guys. The bullpen is nothing. So we just need the starters
Hey,
to
man,
pitch 8 innings. Okay.
telling you, man. So that's where the Braves are cool because they did some offseason signings already. They made a trade, got
Uh,
a couple pitchers and closers from the Seattle Mariners, so they're pretty good on that. They still have their team's pretty intact. No one's really left, so um, yeah, it's gonna be an interesting season, especially with Otani playing in LA. But I mean, the most amazing thing about him like deferring that money. And don't get it wrong, like people are like, damn, he gave up. He didn't give it up. He's just gonna get paid later. But what
yeah,
that
yeah.
does, like Lance said, what that does is it allows the Dodgers to go out and make moves, not just this season, but the following seasons. If they don't win a World Series in the next 2 seasons, they
Oh
still
my
have
gosh.
room. Yeah, they still
Let's
have
talk.
room to.
I want to talk
I just
about
want
World
to put that in
Series.
your head. I just want to put that into your head. That if they don't win the World Series in the next 2 seasons, which I'm counting on, they still have room to go out and make the team better
That sounds so cool.
because the money that he's supposed to be getting that would have been taken up in the cap space that year. Uh, it's just such an unselfish move. You know what I mean?
I like it.
Man,
Thinking about how many World Series rings do you think Otani retires with?
oh man, because it's Otani and he's such a good guy. I'm gonna say at least one. The one's fine. He's with the Dodgers. I'll give him one.
I think if he gets one, everyone will think the contract is worth it, especially when we're paying for it later. We, the Dodgers, me, the Dodgers.
Right? Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Definitely.
but yeah, so the years later, we'll have the like 2026 uh World Series to look back on when we're like crushed for cap space in 2040. But we'll have that to look back on, and by then we'll have our differences, different problems to look at. So yeah, I think it was great. Also, great that he deferred all that money so that they could keep the window open now. They've got a bunch of other superstars they're paying record money to, so definitely that's going to help out. Um, Shout out to Shohei. Shout out to Peely. Shout out to Pow Pow, bro.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, anything? Are there any other sports goodies that we're thinking about? Any stories you want to highlight before we do shout outs?
Hey man, shout out to AJ Epinesa who got a tip and a interception on Sunday. Lead his team to a win. Shout out to our
Yeah.
guy. You know what I mean? His dad is an alumni of Leone. You know, Epi Epinesa.
Mhm.
So always good to see those guys do that. Frankie picking up another sack. Frankie's in his contract year, Frankie Louvu. So he's had a great season, and it's great to hear commentators talk about him and just to understand who like what he does for that team, what he brings there, because he's been overshadowed a lot this season because of the record that they have. His
Mhm.
work has been overshadowed because he doesn't have as many sacks this year, probably not as many tackles for losses, but he's so important to that defense. And to hear the commentators I mean, try to make sure that people understand how great of a player he is, even
How big of a
without the
cog in
veteran.
that system he
Yeah,
is. Yep.
yeah,
He's
and
super
to
important.
explain, yeah. So if you haven't already, go vote for Frankie Louvu for inside linebacker for the Pro Bowl.
Mhm.
While you're there, go ahead and vote for all the other poly guys while you're out there. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
For
There's not many of
God,
us. Support. Vote
there is,
Polly.
yeah. So yeah, get a Frankie Louvu there. Get
AJ.
uh get AJ there if you can. But for
Talanoa
certain, I don't
needs
know
to
if he's,
be in there,
yeah. Even though he's not
regardless of
gonna
his
play,
injured. Yeah, he
but
needs to
the
get
two
the
guys for
nod.
sure, yeah, the two guys for sure who you can go vote for and we can watch them play because they belong there is Frankie Louvu and Benay Sewell. Please
Oh yeah,
run
yeah,
up those
yeah.
votes, man. Run up those votes. Benay
Yes.
has to be the number 1 tackle in the league. I don't care what people say. If he's not the number 1 tackle in the league, you guys are crazy.
Oh,
And
he's
that's not
out
even
there as a wide receiver throwing blocks on screens. That
see, yeah,
was
and that's not even on some
he beat his block real good.
yeah, Pacifica like people stuff. He's just literally the number 1 tackle in the league if you're just talking football. So go
Nice.
vote for those guys, man. Frankie Lou, Benay Sewell. We want to see you in the Pro Bowl this year. So let's get it.
Shout out to Forrest for hopping on the Pacifica movie starter kit. Uh,
Eee.
we recorded it. It's going to come out next week. But yeah, we broke down Boy 2010 Taika Waititi film. Uh, about a crazy kid who thought his father was a hero. Yeah, definitely listen to that when it comes out. But appreciate you again for making time and coming on there and yeah, letting us know a bunch of cool facts and stuff actually about the thriller era, and especially the
Oh
like
man,
in New Zealand and stuff at that time. Yeah, so
my pleasure,
thanks,
man.
man. That was dope.
My pleasure. I loved it.
That is our episode. Thank you everybody for listening. Uh, and yeah, tap in. We got different podcasts. What's up at halftime? When you want to get the guys in for that?
Man, as
After
soon as
Christmas?
possible. I know. Yeah, because Junior right now he's shout out to my guy, man, Junior Lubu. He was at work the other
Um,
day. It's been a couple weeks now, but he's in a boot right now because
oh
he has a
no.
partial tear to his Achilles. So yeah,
Oh
and then
no.
yeah, Noah. No, it's been busy with work. I know he's going off to Utah for Christmas to visit Grandma Emi and my Raider brother Matt. Matt Langfoy, man. If you guys don't follow him, go follow him. He's funny, man, on IG. Matt Langfoy, so yeah. So as soon as Noah gets back, then we're definitely gonna get down to it. So I've been writing stuff down, so that way when we all get together, I can break it down for them how like the outline of what we're gonna be talking about and what we should be talking about on the show. Um, yeah, man, excited, especially
Yeah.
with all the things you're doing right now with the Politicking Network, the Pacifica movie starter kit. You also got way back Wednesday with the
Yeah. Yep.
Seth. So man, good to see us in these spaces where you don't see
Yeah.
too many, or we used to not see too many, but now it's great to pop up and look at a lot of people doing podcasts that sound and look like us and talk about the same things we talk about, cultural wise.
Yeah.
So shout out to everybody who's got like a Pacifica uh, podcast going, any programs you're running.
Yeah.
Let's all hook up and talk about it, be on each other's shows, push each other's agendas. So, yep.
That'd be dope. Yeah, thank you everybody for listening. This has been the Ballinesian Podcast, episode 90. For Forrest, I am Lance Faletongo. Stay hydrated, stay blessed, stay ballin', love and light. Peace.
Peace.